Let's move on to the next game. The game, the one that, in my mind, Scott, is the game that will really set the tone for the season. As of May 13th, their returning offensive production is 71%, which is ranked 17th in the country, which is weird. You look at that list, right? I sent you that list of the returning offensive production. Yeah. We've got the same thing, 71%, but somehow we're ranked 20th. Okay. Maybe it's because of experience at quarterback. That's some reason they weighted it differently, even though the percentage of returning production is the same amongst, I think, 4 different teams. But anyway, Colorado Buffaloes come to Lincoln. That game was also announced as, 6:30 or 7 p.m. kick, I think.
I don't know.
That one's going to be fun. That's going to be under the lights. The place is going to be nuts. I expect. Now, Scott, see if you agree with me on this. Remember that angry, pissed off, we want to throw you through a brick wall atmosphere at Memorial Stadium when Miami rolled into town?
Yeah.
I can only imagine this being probably even more amped up.
Dude, it's going to be absolutely jazzed. It's going to be crazy. I think it's going to break. We're going to finally have a game that is loud and we actually want it.
Yeah,
because we've had some really loud games in the last decade or so, and really the only one that we've won has been that Miami game in 2014.
Yeah,
and so I think it's about time. It took us 10 years, decades long, and it makes it even that much sweeter that it's once again against an opponent that we have a history with, especially when considering the time in an era which Nebraska was big. And I think that this is going to be an absolutely electric game.
Oh, dude, I absolutely can't wait. I'm still looking at ticket prices, and it's like, holy smokes. People really want to go to this game, or if they're not going, they really want you to buy their ticket for a lot of money. So don't know if I'll go or not. I'm still kind of considering that offer from Tony Davis that he's going to go hang out at Cigars and watch the game there. I'm like, that kind of sounds pretty good. So anyway, what's your pick? What do you think happens?
I think no matter which way I look at this, with the context of it being a night game in Memorial Stadium, we've got a win under our belt, first win of, the Matt Rule era, first season opener win of the Matt Rule era. I think Nebraska wins, and I think that it's a close game. I think it's going to be a slobber knocker. I think it doesn't matter how good our defense is. It doesn't matter how good their offense is. I think it's just going to go back and forth. It's going to be an ugly game where it looks pretty terrible from both sides. And then every once in a while, there's just an open guy and it just is just a blow up play. That's what I think is going to happen. Cause I think that Colorado is a hype team. They need, they thrive with hype and they die by the hype. And so I think that they're going to actually play a pretty substantial game when the lights are beaming down on them. They've got 89,000 people screaming their heads off, probably even more. We're going to pack that stadium, 91,000 people. And I just have a feeling that it's just going to be a back and forth game and Nebraska is going to squeak it out. I can't not pick Nebraska to win. So I'm thinking Nebraska wins 35-14 or 35-28.
I'm sorry, I pulled that down on you.
No. I just kind of brain farted. 35-28. And the whole thing is going to be just that every time we feel like we are losing momentum and we put our hands up in the air, we go, oh, here it is. Here's the collapse. And then we finally start to see our guys believe that they can win, and they do. So this is the turnaround. This is the turnaround game for us as Husker fans. I'm calling it now. I don't care what the record is for Colorado at the end of the year. They could go 4-8 again. I don't care. That doesn't matter. They are a cornerstone opponent for the season, no matter how their season ends up. That's my opinion.
I agree, because the slide for me, It was starting to show back in the late 90s. Once Frank Solich took over, there was some late game collapses in 99 and 2000 that Nebraska would barely pull out. But you could kind of see the seeds of things, especially against Colorado. Things starting to unravel a little bit. The team would get gassed at the end of games in Boulder, and they'd just let Colorado sneak back in the game. And then 2001 happened. And 62-36 later, Nebraska's really never been the same football team, in my opinion. So, yes, I could see that. And I think Moonbot kind of agrees with you. He's got a similar score of 35-24. My score's not quite the same. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a slobber knocker. I think it's going to go down to the fourth quarter, and I think it's a 6-point victory for Nebraska because it goes to toward the end of the game. It's 21-21, and I know I said I was not going to mention Tristan Alvano, but I think he does get us to 24-21 with 10 minutes left in the game. The defense makes a couple of big stands, and then he kicks the game icer at 27-21 with about 50 seconds left to go. We intercept Shedeur Sanders in the last minute of the game, and that's that. Nebraska finally wins 27-21. Patrick Joseph, who said he has never been on our stream before earlier, thank you, Patrick. We really appreciate you tuning in. He's kind of lined in my area. He thinks that 23-17, and he thinks it's going to be overtime. So it'll be 17-17, and we throw a touchdown pass to win the game. So after probably stopping them, I'm guessing, or stopping them on fourth down after we've taken a lead. So we'll see. Should be fun. Should be an absolute hoot. Next game is Colorado. Wow. So there we go. That's both of our picks. 35-28 for you, 35-24 for me. Instead of a close win, I have this as a more dynamic win for Nebraska. DR has a little bit better game.